Hello and welcome to Rubbin Minds. My name is Hero Daniels. Many thanks for joining us. It's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I do hope you're having a great day. Over the past few years, young Nigerians have become increasingly vocal about their disappointment in the way the country is being run. You can recall in 2020, we did have the NSAS protest, we've had the End Bad Governance protest, and in 2025 alone, the younger generation, the Gen Zs, have been very, very vocal about their distrust in their various governments in different countries, in no particular order: Indonesia, Togo, Philippines, Maldives, Peru, Morocco, Prague. In 2024, I'm sure that we are very well aware that Kenya and Uganda also took to the streets to protest against the way their countries were being run. And that only leads us to one thing. It means young people do not trust their governments. Now, how did that happen? And how can the government rebuild the trust in not just in the young people, but in Nigerians generally? To discuss governance and leadership, breaking down the decline in trust deficits, is the Deputy Executive Director, Programs, Enough is Enough Nigeria, Ufoma Nnamdi Ude. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So let's dive straight into it. Why are young people why are young people disappointed in their governments all over the world? Because it's a trend, it's not just in Nigeria.
Well, I mean, I think that when you think about, especially in democracies, right, which is one of the most popular form of government around the world, growing up and learning about democracy, you hear that it's government for the people, by the people, and of the people. And the very promise of democracy is that citizens get a better quality of life, you have access to your government is transparent, is accountable. But then when you look at the state of your political system, you see that accountability is lacking, transparency is lacking, development is declining on a steady basis. At some point, you begin to ask yourself, like, okay, what is the use of these people that are empowered to govern me? And let's bring it back home to Nigeria, right? We've been back to democratic rule for about 26 years now. And if you recall, in June 1993, when there was the elections between MKO Abiola, where he won the elections, but the elections were annulled, what happened at the time was we saw Nigerians, young people at the time, and professionals at the time, they became disillusioned to democracy. That was supposed to be the time where people were not bothered about, and if you think about it, you know, it was a Muslim ticket as well. Right. People were not bothered about religion, people were not bothered about, oh, it's a Yoruba man, or it's an Igbo man, or it's from Ijo. It was, this is somebody that we believe in, and we know that would give us the dividend of democracy, which is rule of law and development and whatnot. But when it was annulled, there's a disillusionment that the citizens went into, and that's what we've been struggling with for the past 26 years. And so even coming back into democratic rule in 1999, you see some form of, you even saw our president, Olusegun Obasanjo, at the time going around the world trying to revamp the image of Nigeria, right, and all of those things. But look back in the last 8 years, in the last 16 years, what has been happening. So definitely I don't think that it's, the government needs to give people reason to trust them. And every point in time where you have a crop of politicians who say one thing and do the other thing, they think that they are above the law. The law is only for citizens and not for you once you get into office. Right. Of course, nobody's going to trust you. Right.
Let's now talk about representation. This distrust, because you made reference to former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Let's also recall that, I mean, as the first democratic president, he already had, he was in the military, you know, and then of course he became a civilian president. Former President Buhari was in the military as well. He was military ruler, and when he ruled Nigeria, he was young, and then he came back and he still ruled Nigeria. As of 2023, 3.92% of youths are in governance, and that's a very tiny percentage. Yeah. So, does representation have anything to do with what is currently going on?
I think yes, there is a place for that, right? Especially, so that statistics is even becomes even more gory when you think about the fact that young Nigerians make up over 60 to 70% of the population in Nigeria. And so to have just 3% of those people represented in government, and this is, we're talking both executive, legislature, judiciary, it's crazy. And people would usually say that, oh no, you have young people, when you go to National Assembly, you see young people in the parliament, their aides and whatnot. But when it comes to making decisions, you rarely see young people at the table. And when they're even at the table, there's a lot of tokenism, there's a lot of having to play godfatherism to ensure that you retain your seat. And it's not really reflective of the demographic that they are supposed to be representing. So I think that when I look at my government, and I don't see, interestingly, so a few days ago, I saw a panel. So there was an event that was happening. And when I looked at the flyer, I was like, interesting. I wasn't going to go for that event. It was something that would have been interesting. And I told my husband, what do you think about this flyer? And I was like, this would be an interesting event. I was like, no, they're all men. And it was like, but there's one woman there. And I'm like, really? Do you see what I mean?
That's just a sprinkle.
That's just, do you understand? And so it's even the same thing when I go for government events and I look around and I see, oh, there are 10 men on the table and there's one woman and then she's giving a different type of seats. All of those things say something and they communicate something. And then so for young people, when you look at government and you don't see your people there, most definitely you don't think that, number one, anybody is speaking for you on your behalf, or there is an understanding of your challenges. Because when we see youth leaders, even in down to political parties, youth leaders are in their 40s, in their 50s. And I'm wondering, like, okay, then I'm an infant then, if you're still a youth. Really, yeah.
Okay. We've also seen cases where when we try to make our voices heard, we are met with very stiff resistance from the government. Typical example would be the End SARS protest in 2020. We all know the truth behind what happened at the Lekki toll gate, and that is just one example. And a lot of people are of the school of thought that since 2020, young people have been less vocal about what's going on in this country because nobody wants to die.
Yeah.
So how can we fix that? How can our voices be heard? How can young people stop being afraid?
So whenever I'm asked this question, I'm usually not sure how to respond. Because there's a way you can respond and it can sound insensitive. The honest truth is that if you look through history, not just Nigeria's democracy, and even in Nigeria's political history, you see that nobody is really sitting down in Aso Rock and expecting you to come and challenge them. And every time Nigerians have come up to say, we no go agree, or enough is enough, the government will always come back with resistance. And so the onus is on us not to relent. In my office, one of my colleagues will always say that at the end of the day, how does he say this? He will say, oh, now we'll give up, now you lose, right? At every point in time that we are met with resistance, I think it's an opportunity for us to go back, mobilize, regroup, and come back. It's not a situation where, and all of those things, contrary to what they want us to believe, End SARS was a successful protest. Did it give us 100% of what we expected? No. But did it show us that there is the possibility for young people to galvanize and to ensure that their voices are heard? There was a judicial panel that was set up as a result of that. Now, the conversation around the recommendations of judicial panels and what happened next,
yes,
the onus is on us to continuously engage the process.
Do you think we've dropped the ball on that? Because I think the only judicial panel that really functioned, and we saw the reports, was the Lagos Judicial Panel. And I know the panel of inquiries was set up across different states, if not all of them.
Yes. The FCT. Yes, I think that we've dropped the ball on that. Because, you see, when NSAS happened, there was the belief, I mean, it was the first time a generation was resisting government. It was the first time our generation was saying, no, you will listen to us and this is not the right thing to do. But we must always remember that people had done it before us. And the people that had done it before us knew that this was going to happen at this point in time. They knew that the government was going to do what they did. And I think that is where we must rely on, as we will say in Africa, the wisdom of the old and the strength of the young people.
Right.
Because understanding that, for example, my organization, we followed the judicial panels across all the states, working with partner organizations like Yaga Africa as well. And then we also published reports on the status of every judicial panel. How many young people have looked at those things? Advocacy must always be backed with knowledge. And so that report gives you an understanding to say, okay, in Lagos State, the panel said that they should give, for sake of example, X billion naira to the people that were victims.
Victims, compensation,
and
yeah.
What has happened? Has that happened? Who is going to checkmate to ensure that those things happen? That's our responsibility as citizens as well. So it's beyond uprisings. We must be diligent and consistent in engaging the system.
Okay, I like the fact that as you were talking, you made reference to your organization in office in North Nigeria. And I know there are other, civil society organizations also out there. But enough is enough. Your organization has been very consistent. And I know it's been about 15 years.
Yes.
How has the journey been?
Well, I would say that the journey has been interesting. I've been part of the journey for about 2.5 years, thereabouts, so I haven't been there since inception. But just looking through the impact that the organization has made over the years, I think that it has been met with challenges notwithstanding. There has been times where, during protests, government will maybe block our accounts and just try to make it difficult for us to operate. But at the end of the day, we have changed culture in such a way that we are raising active citizens. There are people who are, we have RSVP ambassadors who are like celebrities and entertainers, just like Banky W, who has now run for office. And all of those type of things are the things that keep us going as an organization. It's not, you don't see the change as incremental as you expect, but it's happening.
I like the fact that you said that you sometimes experience very stiff resistance from the government, and in such a situation where you want to carry out a protest, or you want to have a program, and then for some reason your accounts get blocked, what channel do you take to actually get back your accounts? So
I would say that contrary to popular opinion, Enough is Enough Nigeria is not an anti-government organization. We are a pro-good governance organization. And in doing that, we have allies even in government in terms of partnership, because that's how our development and our democratic development can function, partnering with government here and there. And so we leverage our lawyers, we leverage all of the legal channels to engage. And many times it happens in the heat of the moment. After once they feel like things are down and those restrictions are taken off. But then we have lawyers who we work with and to help us during those times.
Now, the reason why I asked that particular question is we've seen this as a pattern. There was a time even private accounts were frozen during the protest, the NSAS protest. They were setting, in fact, it got to a point on Twitter, they were making jokes about it. If the government has not freezed your account, you're not an important youth in this country, all right? And then people begin to question the strengths of institutions, because the judiciary is supposed to be the last hope of the common man. But some people would say that the current dispensation of the judiciary, in fact, the three arms of government, some might perceive it as one. So now, your organization might have the leverage.
Some might not perceive it as one. I understand that. I think I just want to say that when you have a National Assembly and a judiciary that consistently sings on your mandate, we shall stand, you cannot expect that National Assembly and the judiciary to be independent. So I just wanted to put that out there. They are not independent at this point in time.
Okay, because that was where I was driving to. So for the common man, that's okay. If I go out on the streets and I organize a protest and my bank accounts are frozen and put in police custody, who will save me?
So, civil society organizations function on behalf of citizens as well, majorly. And so there's an organization that is called Gavel. They have a technology tool called Podus AI, where there are pro bono lawyers on that platform to help citizens. From 2020 protests, you have EIE was part of some coalition that helped to get unlawfully arrested protesters out of jail. And so there are these organizations. And I think whenever we talk about things like this, I always try to say that young people, when you're interested in a cause, you must also know who like the stakeholders are that are
Right.
also interested in the cause that can help you. Because Enough is Enough Nigeria has grown from a movement to also an organization. We have systems and structures that help in situations like this. And then we have partner organizations. I mentioned a few in the course of our conversations as well that help to ensure that citizens get. And we see there's an organization called SERAP. You know, people laugh on X that they're always giving lawsuits upon lawsuits, but because somebody has to do it and they follow through, so they're not just making tweets so you think that they're working. They follow through with the lawsuits to ensure that there is some form of justice.
I like that, and I like the consistency of EIE. But does it get tiring sometimes, you know, because it's like you're consistently fighting the same thing year on year, you know? So what gives you people, what gives you guys the courage to continue to demand good governance and accountability? What is the driving force? What inspires your organization daily?
Because Nigerians deserve better. And somebody has to do the work of fighting and strengthening our democracy. And so we say, yes, our institutions are not strong enough, they're not independent enough. But sometimes you see civil society organizations also do some form of capacity strengthening for these institutions so that they can function. We must understand that democracy is not inherent, it's taught, and so it's learned. And for us, it is simple. Nigerians deserve better, and we would always be at the point where we're advocating for Nigerians. Educating them to be more informed about issues and to speak up for themselves. So many times when we create accountability mechanisms, even in local government, the goal is for citizens to own it and drive it.
All right. In 30 seconds, tell us about Footprints and what's happening on December 10th, I believe.
Okay, on December 10th, we are going to be celebrating Enough is Enough Nigeria's 15th anniversary. It's really going to be an event where we speak to our impacts over the years and also unveil our plans in the coming years as well. That's really what we're doing. It's also Human Rights Day, and so we're going to be having Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, we're going to be having Mr. Fola Adeola, as well as Sanusi as well will be with us, and as well active citizens really. So anyone is invited. Just have to go to our platform and register.
All right, thank you very much, Ufoma.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of your day. Rubbin Mind continues after this break. Stay with us. Don't just stand there teasing me. Now it's time to show and prove reaction. Welcome back. This is Rubbin Minds. Before we went on the break, we were discussing young people's role in governance and how Gen Zs all over the world are expressing their dissatisfaction in the way their countries are being run. Right about now, let us talk about something very, very important in our society. December 1st will mark World AIDS Day, and it is a time for us to reflect on how we have been treating the people living with HIV and AIDS in our communities. An estimated 2 million Nigerians are living with HIV and AIDS. And it's important to note that these people are our brothers, they are our sisters, they are our fathers, they are our mothers. So this conversation is going to focus on the impacts of stigma, the impacts of misconception. We're also going to talk about the access to healthcare and also sensitization and prevention of HIV and AIDS. And to discuss love, stigma, and life with HIV is the founder and CEO of Positive Bondship, HIV plus singles matchmaker, Stella Ayinka. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing today?
I'm very fine, thank you.
All right. So why do you think stigma still persists in 2025?
Yeah, stigma still persists in this 2025 because of the outdated myths, which is the belief of the people from what they understand about HIV from the old. Then it's also their understanding about being HIV and what HIV is, you know, because of the mixture between HIV and AIDS. You know, when people hear about HIV, they call it AIDS, without knowing it's actually passed through years before it gets to that point. So because of that, once you hear AIDS, they just take it as, once you hear HIV, I mean, they take it as AIDS. So once they see you like that you're HIV positive, they just stigmatize you without even giving you the room to explain, and without them even unlearning and relearning the new advanced treatment in HIV and AIDS.
Okay, so can you enlighten us, what's the difference?
Yes, the difference now, it's medical, in medical now, HIV transmission, treatment and prevention has really advanced. Because now you can just prevent yourself from being infected. Because we have PEP.
The world.
Of course, yes. Like you said, it's an HIV matchmaking platform. So it's basically for people looking for serious relationship that might lead to marriage or that will lead to marriage. So everybody in the platform has two things in common. Everybody is HIV positive. So there's actually no secrets. There is no looking for a special time to disclose your status, because that's an heavy weight on its own. So it's as if you've jumped past that stage.
Yeah.
Then everyone on the platform is actually looking for the right partner. So it's a safe space for the people living with HIV. But at the same time, it's a disciplined, safe space. It's not a space where one person can meet 5 people. It's not a space where 5 people can meet 10 people. It's a space where one person meets one person. So it's a very safe space. So
if a man or woman that is HIV negative decides to match up with someone that is HIV positive, would you allow such a person on your platform?
I actually don't register negatives. I only do positive, because we have lots of people that are HIV positive that needs to be matched. Okay. But at the same time, I do meet a lot of negative people dating positive people. So as long as the person that is positive is you equals you, which is undetectable equals untransmittable, you are good to go. And it's very important, if you're negative and you're dating somebody that is positive, it's very important you follow the person to see his or her doctor so that you understand what the HIV is.
Thank you very much. This has been a very, very enlightening session. And we wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Anytime, anytime. And that's it for this segment. And I think our message is very clear. Let us drop the stigma that we have for people living with HIV and even AIDS. All right? Rubbin Mind continues after this break. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Rubbin Minds. Before we went on the break, we were discussing World AIDS Day and how we can create a safer environment for everyone living with HIV and AIDS in Nigeria. Right about now, there is a phrase that is on everybody's lips. It is called Detty December. We're all gearing up for the festivities around Christmas period. And of course, from the 1st of December up until the 31st, and even up to the first week of January, Nigeria would receive an influx of visitors. And of course, within Nigeria, the people that are here would also party. We're talking about festivals, we're talking about homecoming parties, we're talking about family reunion. And yes, we want to talk about that. Detty December, where culture and celebration meet. Joining me from our Abuja studio is a show promoter, Bamidele Adams. Welcome to the program, my brother. So,
how you doing?
Good. Even the color of your hair shows that you're ready for the season.
It's good to have you.
Anytime. So, Can you explain to us in layman terms, when we say Detty December, what do we mean?
So it's just the festive, December time, characterized with a lot of parties, a lot of events, nice live shows. So basically, that's what Detty December meant.
Amazing. Now, the Lagos state government alone generated 107 billion naira in 2024 from the revenue of Detty December. And of course, Lagos and Abuja are major hubs for festivities like this.
Yeah.
What do you think we should expect, not just in terms of revenue, but also in terms of cultural impact in 2025?
So Detty December, as a concept, it transcends the whole rave party. It has a cultural meaning. And what it means is, even with the fact that the economy is going through a lot of recession, people still put it at the back of them and they still try to have fun. So irrespective of what they are going through, people still forget about their reality, their sad reality, and have fun. And that's cultural for me.
That's amazing. Before, let's say maybe 2022, 2023, Nigerians in diaspora they've always been coming home, but we've never had such a huge influx up until last year. So why do you think a lot of Nigerians in diaspora now see it as very, very important to come back home?
So most times they come back home because of the culture, and most of them want to reconnect with base, because Detty December, like I said, it doesn't please, can you? Hello?
Yes, I'm with you.
Hello? No.
I'm with you. All right, I think Bamidele is having a bit of an issue, but I think I'll just share something very, very personal. Last December, I happened to have hosted I hosted a ton of events, and there was something that was very striking. The PR that Nigeria got from Detty December, I think this is such a huge cultural opportunity for us to redefine what being in Nigeria means, especially in times like this. We all know what the security situation of the country is, and with the tweets of Donald Trump and with the tension in the country as a result of that tweet and as a result of all the killings and the kidnappings that are happening, I think this is one good opportunity for us to really show the world that, yes, we might have our own internal challenges as Nigerians, but despite our challenges, and of course we implore the governments to do the best they can and make sure they end and put a strong end to these killings, I think it's also an opportunity for Nigerians to redefine what being a Nigerian means, especially to the rest of the world. Now, the government has set up a task force to ensure a smooth flow of the Detty December festivities. How does that make you feel, Bamidele, knowing that the government is trying to put things in place to ensure a smooth flow of the festivities this season?
Can you help me to put this up in?
Bamidele, I'm sure you're still there. All right, we're going to reconnect with Bamidele very soon. So like I was saying, the government has actually set measures in place to ensure a smooth run of festivities. However, it is also very, very important that security is very tight, especially during this period. A couple of people have a bit of paranoia. You know, people are afraid to travel, and we do not want a situation whereby this will now affect the entire value chain of the business. You know, from the government side, it generates a lot of revenue. From the citizen side, it creates a lot of jobs. I mean, think of it, a Davido concert or an Olamide concert. The people that are benefiting, all the hotels around there, all the vendors that will sell food at the venue, all the Uber drivers that will drive people to that particular venue. Just look at the entire ecosystem, not to talk of the show promoters, not to talk of the people that will actually set up the infrastructure to make these things happen. So it is very, very important that we all agree that we need to make this Detty December 2025 one to remember. So Bamidele, can you tell me what we are to expect in 2025, Detty December? Bamidele, are you
Detty
there?
December this year is going to be insane. A lot of people are going to be traveling to Lagos. We're going to have a lot of people from the diaspora. We're going to be having a lot of the nightlife sports field, a lot of concerts, a lot of festivals in Lagos, basically. And I feel like it's going to be the one for the books.
So how do you think this can help our tourism, or how it's already helping our tourism?
A lot of things that it's doing to the tourism, because most prices of stuff are surcharged, and during the December, it's a lot of money, a lot of capital into the system. You know, a lot of hotels are booked, a lot of flights are surcharged. Everybody's going to be making so much money at this season, and I feel like in a lot of ways it's going to affect the economy positively.
I like the fact that you said that everybody is going to be making so much money, but while some people are making money, some people are spending money. Do you think it's a bit of a pressure on young people to perform? You know, a young person wants to show that he or she has arrived, and they go to the club and they want to spend an excessive amount of money. To that young person watching, what do you have to say to that person?
So the good thing about the Detty December is for everybody, irrespective of it fits into any budget capacity. And I feel like the whole period thing is a personal thing. And I feel like some people, there's a point you get in your life that you can't just be period with something. And like I said, Detty December is for everybody. It fits into any budget capacity. And I feel like it's everybody will be able to fit into it, whatever way they want to do it.
So one of the major concerns currently about Detty December is the security situation of the country. What do you think can be done to strengthen the belief of people, especially Nigerians living in diaspora, as different governments are already issuing memos that Nigeria is not fit to travel to? What do you think we can do to encourage people to still come despite the security challenges?
So I feel like the government would need to come into this one, and I feel like a lot of things should be worked upon, especially traffic situation. There should be safe and exit and entry into the venues, and there should the car lots should be properly managed, because the things that cause traffic most times in Lagos are the parking lots. Some people just park beyond their normal way, and it causes a lot of traffic. And I feel like if government can put a lot of checks on that, that would be pretty good. And then I feel like the government can still support like the up and coming show promoters to organize something pretty good for everybody.
Okay, I like that. What other changes do you think you would like to see coming from a backdrop of what you experienced in 2024? What are the critical changes you think we need to put in place to ensure a smooth running of Detty December 2025?
So I feel like for those generic concerts everywhere, like Davido, Wizkid, all those concerts, there should be a lot of security checks so that we can avoid occurrences like petty theft and a lot of things like that. So I feel like government would have to do a lot to make sure that the space is safe for people coming from the diaspora.
Yeah. So there's a lot of conversation around the prices of tickets. I do not think there's any major artist in this country whose ticket is under 100,000 naira for regular tickets. It is alarming. A lot of show promoters have complained about not being able to afford artists during this period. And yes, now we have a lot of our big artists performing and having shows this December, but the prices, some people might call it outrageous. What do you make of the pricing of shows, and why do we have such huge prices this year?
I feel like those prices are outrageous for the common man. And the bad thing is some people will always still be able to afford those tickets. But I just feel like there should be like a regulation, a general regulation that just keeps everybody on check. The show promoters, the artists themselves, because there are sometimes that the problem doesn't come from the show promoters or the organizers. it just comes from the artist, and the show promoters, they need to still strike a balance with the artists for them to be able to, to do the project. So I just feel like the prices are outrageous, but the bad thing is people will still, there are some people that will still, do it. But most importantly, we just need them to deliver a good show, irrespective of, how much the ticket is. So, yeah.
So it's very interesting that you say that a lot of people will still be able to afford it. We live in times where everybody is complaining about the economy. And how do you expect the people at the top to believe that there's poverty in the land when you are spending 100,000 or 120,000 naira for a Wizkid or a Davido concert?
Yeah.
Can you make sense of that?
Yeah, that's it feels like a conflict because people in the diaspora, they feel like we are not really doing well with finances in Nigeria. Then there are this particular group so that it's lavishing. So I just feel like some people just pay for what they like, what they want to do. They just pay for it, irrespective of how costly it is. But like I said earlier, there should just be a regulation that just put everybody on check, because I feel like from the show promoter side, if we are perfect and the artist side is good, so I feel like we should be able to put out like a price for tickets that will be affordable for everybody.
Let's talk about infrastructure, because a lot of this cost is coming from the fact that, show organizers would say that to pay for an Eco hotel, you spend about 30 million. That is just for the empty hall. Then you have to get equipment and rigs, sometimes over 100 million naira. The budgeting for a standard show is insane. And that is because we have to literally create the infrastructure. What infrastructure challenges do you think we're facing, and how can we fix it?
So I feel like the infrastructure challenges, the venues are on the higher side, just like you said. And I feel like if we can have a better negotiation, and the prices are affordable, I feel like that would do a whole lot. Okay. To what we are doing. And I feel like the government I said earlier that the government can do a partnership scheme with promoters and event organizers too, and hit a compromise as to how we can do all of this moving forward.
Thank you very much, Bamidele, and I do wish you the very best. As much as you're working hard, also try to sleep, and we wish everybody a very Detty December. That's all we have for you. Thank you. That's all we have for you on today's show. I hope you enjoyed our show. My name is Hero Daniels. Until I catch you next time, please stay safe.